Hello, everybody. It's me, Balada Sega Gamer, and this is the person that you either love or hate on the internet. Now, today I wanted to do a project that I wanted to do out of curiosity to see if this certain show has hold up. And what show I'm talking about? And that is Animaniacs. There in the past 2 years, I have been marathon Animaniacs when it was on the hub, and as of recently on Netflix, of course. And seeing how I love this show to death, I was wondering, hey, you know what? Let me do an every episode of Animaniacs review. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because not only I'm doing this for fun, but now as of recent times, a lot of people, like Ben the Looney, are a little mixed on Animaniacs. Some people say that the only cartoons were the Warner Trio, Pinky and the Brain, and Slappy Squirrel. Now, that is true for most cartoon shorts that do air them, but there are a lot of underrated cartoon shorts and characters in Animaniacs that I love, the Goodfeathers being one. And not only that, there are plenty of underrated shorts that gets past everybody's radar. And as of recent times, I heard that in the mid 90s, the creator of Ren and Stimpy doesn't really like Animaniacs as a whole. But I'll prove to these people that this show is still watchable. I can't say if Animaniacs is strongly faithful to the original Looney Tunes, that what the Nostalgia Critic has been based upon, but I'm gonna look at the show as its own terms, as it's originally supposed to be a sketch, an animated Saturday morning cartoon sketch economy. Well, here's the template of the episode. You'll see the fun fact, the episode description on top, the name of the episode, the quote, the highlight, the season order of the episode, and the air date. And of course, I put a screenshot because let's face it, I'm crap on MS Paint. So yeah, I put a screenshot of the episode of the most iconic part of it, so that way at least you guys can see something while I'm talking. And plus, I'm not gonna put the whole episode on YouTube due to copyright issues. Now, my history of the show, sadly though, didn't come around until 1997 to 1998. When the show was on TV, let's just say I was just born during that time. But when I saw the reruns of this show, I completely loved it. I laughed my pants off as a kid. Yes, a 6-year-old something like myself watched this show back then, and with all the adult jokes and sexual innuendos references, IF, and all the cartoony abuse that both the Goodfeathers and Pinky and the Brain has to go through, yeah, that's saying a lot for my generation who grew up in the 90s. And luckily for me, I did catch the rest of the show when it was re-airing on Nickelodeon. At first, I was confused why this show was not going to re-air on Cartoon Network as much as mostly on Nickelodeon and Nicktoons Network. But as I got older, I just realized that Viacom actually owns 25% of Warner Brothers. And hey, at least it's better than Warner Brothers airing their own show on Disney, but we'll get to that later. So enjoy this video and enjoy of every Animaniacs reviewed. Now, before we begin, here is the ranking system of these episodes. If there's an episode that is good and it has lots of funny jokes, lots of funny gags, the characters don't get on my nerves, etc., it's a good episode. If there's an episode that has both good parts and bad parts, it's a decently average episode. Now here's where things get interesting. If there's an episode that is so bad, the plot is poorly executed, the music is not as good as the episode is intended to be with its soundtrack, and the characters just get on my nerves, then it's a
shitty episode.
That being out of the way, let's begin. Episode 1A, Desanitize. The Warner's first therapy session with Dr. Otto Scratch-a-Sniff. Fun fact, there is a reference to Adventures in Babysitting. Now, do I think that this is a good episode to a start to an already fantastic cartoon? Yes, it's actually a good episode. The highlight of this episode is the daydream sequence. Yeah, it's the part when the nurse comes in and escorts the Warners to Dr. Otto Scratch-a-Sniff's first therapy session, and it's pretty funny for that daydream sequence. You see Yakko riding a horse with the nurse, Wacko riding a speed dirt buggy, a Red Steve's dirt buggy with the nurse, and Dot, she's on the boat with the doctor, and she says, "Disgusting!" And this episode is famous for that quote, "Hello, nurse." And also, what I like about this episode is that the Warners try to emphasize what the doctor's trying to do, so that way the doctor can make him calm and less frantic-y. But instead, the doctor gets stressed out and pulls all his hair. They literally do what he does, like the ink blot tests, where Dot literally catches a butterfly and describes what she saw in the drawing, to Wacko it literally doing a bunch of visual gags, including IF, where the doctor actually goes into his psychological mind and see what his emotions like. But the funniest part is when Wacko actually emphasizes on every word that the doctor meant to say, but Dr. Otto Scratch-a-Sniff gets so pissed off that he ends up becoming bald himself. And I actually like the twist ending, where, let's say, the Warners are actually his therapist, and he goes so crazy that he ends up blasting himself all the way up to the moon.